Om 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 Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः. हरि ओम. Welcome to this 21st session of Vedanta Shravana Sadhana Yagna. We are looking into this text called Vivekachoodamani. And every sheath, the physical sheath, the pranamaya kosha, the mind sheath has been negated. Now it is a time to negate this intellectual sheath or Vijnanamaya kosha. Vijnanamaya means the thought sheath, the firm thought, the steady thought, the deciding thought. That sheath is being negated now. Verses 184 to 188. Buddhir buddhindriyai sardham samvritti kartrulakshanaha vijnanamaya kosha syat pumsas samsara karanam. This Vijnanamaya kosha, Vijnanamaya means special clear knowledge. That kosha or that sheath which covers this consciousness or self or I is the cause for samsara. Samsara means change, modification. This kosha is the cause of the differences that we experience, and because we experience differences, we like something, we don't like something, and so we engage in the world to achieve something. We disengage and withdraw from something. Dislikes and dislikes are the cause for samsara. Samsara means birth. I take another birth because I want to experience what I like. I want to be away from what I don't like. And depending on the good deeds that I have done, samsara is not just happening because of our likes and dislikes. Samsara is happening because of the good deeds and the bad actions that we have done. And because of that, we accumulate a sinful nature or a very divine nature, and we take births accordingly. Samsara karanam. Samyak means properly. Sarati, moving. Something that keeps moving forward in the future is called samsara. Vijnanamaya koshaha. This kosha or the sheath is called Vijnanamaya koshaha. Syat. It is pumsaha. For that being, that person, that individual, it is the cause for samsara. What is this kosha or what is this sheath comprised of? Buddhihi, buddhi indriyaihi. Buddhi means steadiness of thought. One thought which is a very steady, clear thought. Basically, it refers to the outgoing thought. The thought, there are incoming thoughts and there are outgoing thoughts. Buddhi refers to the outgoing thought. The mind is referring to the incoming thoughts, the inputs that come through the five sense organs of perception. Buddhi is the outgoing thought that expresses through the five sense organs of perception. Meaning, the mind is just showing if there's a mountain, if there is an ocean, if there are trees, if there are birds, everything is revealed to us through the mind. But the buddhi is taking the eyes towards what we want to see, what we want to hear, what we want to taste, what we want to smell, what we want to touch, and experience. That is the buddhi. There is an effort from inside towards the outside world. That is buddhi. And mind is just showing whatever is there that is in front of us. This buddhi, savrittihi, sardham, buddhir, buddhindriyaihi, sardham, this intellect comprised of the thought process and the five sense organs of perception. It has got one definitive action to definitive feature towards it. What is that? Kartru lakshanaha. It takes the form of the karta or the doer. We say, I see, I hear, I taste, I smell, I touch, I speak, I eat, I do, I walk, I reproduce, I push out whatever waste, everything I plus the action. That is the buddhi. And is this sheath or is this covering of the consciousness? Is this I? No. Why? Anuvrajat chit pratibimba shaktihi vijnana samjnah prakrutir vikaraha jnana kriyavan ahamityajasram dehendriyadish shvabhimanyate bhrisham. Anuvrajat chit pratibimba shaktihi. This buddhi, the intellect sheath, is accompanied by the reflection of consciousness. The reflection of consciousness expresses through this Vijnanamaya Kosha. That is why when somebody is thinking a lot, somebody is thinking very deeply, their faces will be bright because they activate the Vijnanamaya Kosha, and the Vijnanamaya Kosha is the closest to consciousness. Anuvrajat, chit, this light of chit, pratibimba shaktihi. It is a the pratibimba or the reflection of this consciousness is present completely in our thoughts, in our the thinking that we do. This consciousness is completely, thoroughly reflected there. This reflection of consciousness, which is present in the thought, is the same reflection of consciousness that is there in deep sleep, but we are not aware of it. We say, I don't know. I slept, we say, but I don't know anything. I don't know who am I in that deep sleep. In the waking state is the same in the buddhi. I am present, but the identification takes over after that. We say, I see, I hear, I taste, I smell, I touch, I do, I feel. All this we say because of the identification of the buddhi with the actions. Kartrutva Swabhava is there. That nature of doership, the thought of doership is there in the buddhi. It is called Vijnana Samnyaha. This buddhi is called Vijnana or specially knowing. What is that special knowledge? The mind shows everything that is outside. The buddhi shows us specially there is some knowledge inside. We say, I see. What is that I? The mind is not able to show that, but the buddhi shows. Vijnana Samnyaha. And what is this buddhi? It is nothing but a modification of Prakriti. Prakriti means nature. Its basic qualities are Sattva Guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. It is formed out of the Sukshma Tanmatras, the subtle elements of the five elements like earth, water, fire, air, and space. The subtle aspect of the earth, water, fire, air, and space constitute the buddhi. Prakritehe vikaraha. Jnana kriyavan ahamiti ajasram. It is endowed, this buddhi has this function called knowledge. The knowledge of I. It keeps saying I, aham, aham iti ajasram, all the time. Jnana kriyavan, it is capable of knowledge, it is capable of action also. Deha indriyadishu abhimanyate brisham. This constantly identifies itself with the body and with the sense organs as I am this body, I am the sense organs, I am the seeing, I am the hearing, I am the tasting, I am smelling, I am touching. Deha indriyadishu abhimanyate. It gets attracted to that, it is attached to that, it identifies itself with that, and it says, I am that. So that is the buddhi, the nature of the buddhi. It is a modification of prakriti. It is a modification of the three gunas of prakriti, is the buddhi. The knowing capacity, the sheath in us that helps us to know what is there outside. In deep sleep, that sheath is not awakened. It is because the whole mind withdraws completely inside. This intellectual sheath is not awakened, so we don't know anything. In the waking state, we know. The first thing that wakes up in us is the buddhi, or the ability to know, the capacity to know is given by the buddhi. And what is the nature of this? Anadikalo ayamaham svabhavaha jiva samasta vyavahara vodham karoti karmanyapi purvavasanaha punyanya punyani cha tatphalani. This intellect, anadikalaha ayam aham swabhavaha. What is the nature of this intellect? Since time immemorial, we don't know from how long. Anadi means no beginning. Always the nature of this intellect is, this intellect means I am, aham swabhavaha. It has the feeling of I. This identification, the ego is the source of the ego is this buddhi, the intellect. Aham swabhavaha. This jiva, when it keeps saying I, and that knowledge is reflected in the buddhi, it is jivaha samasta vyavahara vodha. It engages in all actions in this world. We say, I am doing this, I have this problem, I have that problem, I have this worry, I have this anxiety, then I am going to the bank, I am depositing money, I am withdrawing money, I am rich, I am poor, I am intelligent, I am dull, I am dim-witted, I have a very big family around me, I have nobody around me. For everything that I is transacting through this intellect, the knowledge aspect is coming through the intellect. But it is the jiva, the I. What does it do? Karoti karmani api purva vasanaha. Depending on the different impressions that are there in the subtle body, vasana means they are thought deposits or thought imprints that are there in the subtle body. And this vasana, how did it come? Because over so many lifetimes, we cannot count how many lifetimes, as different beings, 84 lakh yonis are there. In all those births, we have been born, and in every birth, we have engaged in this world, searching for food, mating, and then withdrawing in fear, attacking, hunting, running away and protecting life from being hunted. All these aspects have been happening over so many lifetimes, and every movement of the jiva has been recorded as an imprint inside as a vasana. This vasana is there. Purva vasana means it is there. This is always, it's like a time bomb. Every vasana is like a time bomb. At one point of time, it will erupt. It will be waiting for the right circumstances, the right space, and the right time for it to become ripened and manifest. Purva vasana. So because of the Purva vasana can be many desires also. I have a desire for something. Suppose I have a desire for chocolate cakes. That desire will not manifest when I'm born as a baby. When I'm born as a baby, I will give whatever I have to. I will drink whatever I'm given. And then after 6 months, I will be eating whatever I'm given to eat. But after some time, after many, many years, when I have seen something, when I have seen some chocolates, and I have experienced that, when that surrounds me, the object will trigger, the object will press. It's like a button. It will press that vasana, and that vasana will get triggered. And now that the object is there outside, wow, I can enjoy this chocolate cake. I can enjoy this ice cream. I can enjoy more and more of these clothes. I can enjoy more and more of these comforts. These vasanas will get triggered from inside, and the individual begins to go and do work in search of these vasanas. And what do they do? Because of these vasanas, it's not only about enjoying, it is also about doing good work. I want to serve society. I want to become a doctor. I want to become a lawyer. I want to become a chiropractor. Or I want to become a pujaari in the temple. So many desires are there. All those desires will manifest at the right time. And the jiva, I want to become a murderer. They don't really decide like that. But situations happen and they go ahead and do that work. Punyani, apunyani cha, tat phalani. So, because of the actions that they do, they experience punya. Punya means the result of my action. I do an action and the action impacts somebody in the world or something in the world, and as a result, I experience a state of mind which keeps me happy, which keeps me close to the truth, which keeps me doing greater and greater and nobler things all the time. That is punya. But because of some action I do, my mind becomes restless and I don't know how to handle the mind, and my mind engages in the world outside, creating more restlessness and creating more trouble in the world and creating more trouble for myself. That is a apunya. Apunya means it is not punya. It doesn't yield any merit or it doesn't do any good to me or good to anybody in society. It's tat phalani. Then what happens? Bhungte vichitra swapiyo nishu vrajan nayati niryatyadha urdhvameshaha asyaiva vijnanamayasya jagrat swapnadyavasthaha sukha bhogaha. This jiva, this individual, because of these kinds of beliefs and thought patterns that are there in the intellect, bhungte vichitrasu api yonishu vrajanna. This jiva is going on enjoying vichitrasu api yonishu. Different types of parents, different types of mothers. Mothers means scorpion mother, cockroach mother, fly mother, mosquito mother, sometimes human mother also, cow mother, dog mother, rat mother, cat mother. So many mothers we go through. So many yonis we are born. Bhungte vichitrasu api. Vichitra means different varieties of yonis, because depending on the desires, that it's not that just because I got a human birth, I will be born as a human being only. Depending on the intensity I give to certain desires. If a person is going on snatching things from others, if a person is going on stealing from other people's things, then the yoni may be even a monkey. If you go to temples in the mountains, you have lots of monkeys. Those temples will not allow us with anything in our hand. Even if we show that we have got a banana, and because the monkey is coming, or banana or some snacks we have, and we put it inside the bag, the monkey will snatch the bag and go. Nobody will scold the monkey because it's a nature of the monkey to snatch. But if a human being snatches, people will say he's a thief and he'll get a bad name. Instead of becoming a human being and getting a bad name by becoming a thief, we can as well live as in the yoni of a monkey, being born in a monkey, and do that action every day. Nobody is going to tell anything to the monkey, you thief, and they're not going to put the monkey in jail. So the bhungte vichitrasu api yonishu vrajanna. this jiva, which is identified with the body, mind, and intellect, will do so many actions because of this Vijnanamaya kosha, the buddhi, the intellect, and those actions will bring in punya or will bring in papa. When it does a lot of punya karmas, it will be born in punya yonis, meaning where there is a lot of enjoyment that is possible. When lots of papa karmas are there, it will be born in papa yonis, where they have to bear a lot of sorrow. Nothing is in their control. An ant, a mosquito, or a fly, their sorrows are not in their control. If a fly is hitting me, if a fly is biting me, or sorry, a mosquito is biting me, I can slap that mosquito to death. But if that mosquito is slapped by me to death, it cannot take revenge on me, or it cannot come back and say, it cannot have a mosquito conference and decide these human beings are giving us so much of trouble. Now we have to exterminate the human beings. The mosquito does not have that intelligence or the capacity or ability to do. It is subservient to that, to the dictates of nature. So na ayati vrajanna, na ayati. This jiva, it performs good and evil actions according to vasanas. It comes and goes up and down, taking birth in various bodies. Ayati, niryati, adha, urdhvam, eshaha. So adha means there are many life forms which are beneath our feet, under the ground, like snakes or insects or burrowing insects, burrowing animals. So many things, there are so many insect varieties that are living deep under the ground and the surface level of the ground. And then as human beings, which are on the surface of the ground. Then living beings that are above us, like the devas. In all these different bodies, we will be born because of the punya and papa karmas, because of the righteous and the non-righteous actions. Adaha urdhvameshaha asya eva vijnanamayasya jagrat swapnadi avastha sukha dukkha bhogaha. In this vijnanamaya kosha alone, we have these two experiences of the waking state and the dream state. The waking and dream. In the waking state also we see and we experience, we know something. In the dream state also we see and we experience and we know certain things. Jagrat, swapna adi, avasthaha. And in these two states, sukha, dukkha, bhogaha. It experiences joy and it experiences sorrow. Who experiences joy and sorrow? The jiva, which is identified with the body and subsequently with the mind and intellect. The jiva experiences sorrow. When I think that I am this body, then I will live a life of constant experience of joy and sorrow. If I'm aware that I am not this body, I am not this Vijnanamaya kosha, I am consciousness. Consciousness is not subject to any different experience other than itself. Dehadinishta shrama dharma karma gunabhimanam satatam mameti Vijnanakoşoyam ati prakashaham prakrishta sannidhya vashat paratmanaham ato bhavatyesha upadhirasya yadatmadhihi samsarati brahmena. This Vijnanamaya kosha is the brightest. Even the Anandamaya kosha, or that experience of this deep sleep state that we have, that is also very bright. But we are not aware of that brightness because there is a layer of ignorance that covers the self during deep sleep. So we are not aware that we are sleeping. But in the waking state, we are aware that we are awake. So that makes a difference between the Vijnanamaya kosha experience and the Anandamaya kosha experience. But both are very close to the self. Dehadi nishtha, ashrama, dharma, karma, guna, abhimanam, satatam, mama iti. This Vijnanamaya kosha, or the intellect sheath, meaning the steady thought that we have. We entertain a steady thought of I. That I thought associates itself with the deha. It associates itself with the body and the prana, the mind and other things. Nishtha. It is very established in that. It is identified with that. It is resting in the body. It is resting in the prana. It is resting in the mind. It is resting in the intellect, the I thought. Nishtha. And then it is also resting in many thoughts and beliefs like ashrama. I belong to the grihastha ashrama. I belong to the Brahmacharini ashrama. I am a student. I am a householder. I am a vanaprasthi, meaning I have given up this household duties and I am focusing on knowing the divine within me. Vanaprastha ashrama. Then I have given up everything in this life and I have taken up sannyasa ashrama. I am in this stage of life from 75 to 100 years of age. Sannyasa ashrama. And then I am a brahmana. I am very intellectual in my work. I am a kshatriya. I work hard to protect people around me. I am a vaishya. I do trading and commerce. I indulge in share markets. Then I take care of animal husbandry, poultry, farming, agriculture, all these trades I do. I am a Shudra. I do menial work. These kinds of identities are taken by the intellect. This thought, this I thought, functioning as the intellect, takes up all these identities and associates itself with that, identifies itself with that. Dharma, ashrama dharma. Dharma means the respective duties of those ashramas and the respective actions that needs to be done. For example, if I am a teacher, I am identified with the job of teaching. Like the identity, the sense of identity and the assertive nature that I am the doer comes from the intellect, the Vijnanamaya kosha. It is also identified with the gunas. I am sattvic in nature. I am rajasic in nature. I am tamasic in nature. I am a mixture of sattva and tamas. I am a mixture of sattva and rajas. I am a mixture of rajas and tamas. Like this, different permutations and combinations we identify with. Guna abhimanam. Abhimanam means having a firm identity with something. Satatam mama iti. Always thinking that all these qualities belong to me. I am sattvic. My nature is always sattvic. My nature is always rajasic. I am a very temperamentally tamasic person. All these identities I take up. The intellect takes up. Vijnana koshaha ayam ati prakashaha. This Vijnana kosha is very, very bright. Is very, very bright means it is manifested everywhere. This physical body is very tightly formed. The pranamaya kosha is a little bit loose and little bit pervasive. The manomaya kosha is very, very pervasive. The vijnanamaya kosha is more pervasive because it's more subtle and it reflects that consciousness. Because atiprakashaha, why is it very bright? Why is that intellect or why is that thought very bright? Because prakrishta sannidhya vashat paratmanaha. Paratmanaha, that supreme self or that consciousness, this Vijnanamaya kosha is very close to consciousness. And so it's very bright. It shines with the light of consciousness, light of awareness. It looks like, that is why we say I know, because that consciousness is that which gives the light. Vijnanamaya kosha has got knowledge, the ability to know, that Shakti to know, and when that Shakti to know shines with the light of consciousness, the Vijnanamaya kosha takes up that or doership and says, I know. Ataha bhavati esha upadhihi asya yad atmadhihi samsarati brahmena. Because it is a superimposition on the self, and when it identifies with it, this jiva suffers when the jiva identifies with the Vijnanamaya kosha, which is only a superimposition on the self. It is not the self. Saying that I am this intellect, when I identify with that, then I suffer modifications because the Vijnanamaya kosha is a modification of Prakriti or Sattva guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. And when these modifications happen, there is also the possibility of rebirth because it does not stay in one state all the time. And so that is why we have to be very careful about where the simple message is identify with consciousness as I, the self. If you identify with anything from the body, from the prana, from the mind or the intellect, we are subject to change and transmigration. So that's the message of this Vivekachoodamani. We will continue tomorrow with the condition of the Atman. Let us see. Om Sarvesham Swastir Sarvesham Shantir Sarvesham Purnam Sarvesham Mangalam Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasorma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya, Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Bole Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Hare Namah Parvati Pataye. Hara Hara Mahadeva. Hari Om.